Well, first day in pads. Number one is over, and really an exciting day. I mean, it's great because it's Saturday. There's zero distractions. There's no class. Come out here, there was obviously an awful lot of intensity and enthusiasm with it being the first day in pads, but really excited about the leadership on this team. That's the one thing that really stands out to me right now coming out of practice one is just the leadership. And we were talking just about the number of guys that have played for us, and those guys, they're outspoken, they've got high standards, they push themselves, they get along great together. I mean, to see those guys out there in battle like they were in live situations and then help each other up and kind of hug each other, tap each other on the helmet, it's just really a special group of young men. It's a fun team to coach. It's a fun team to be around. And I thought the intensity, I thought the tempo, I thought the enthusiasm today was really probably one of the best practices we've had since I've been here. I think they're starting to get it across the board. And a lot of the young guys are swimming mentally and everything's happening at them at full speed, but that's the only way you get it to slow down is by giving them an awful lot of reps, and we got those today too. So overall, I thought it was a really productive day today.
Are you seeing a lot of the seniors this year? I mean, I know you have a big senior class.
Yes, the biggest class we've had since I've been here. And, again, we're talking about, Barrington and Linares and Corey Grissom and Kayvon Webster and Evan Landy and Shields and B.J. Daniels and Demetrius Murray and Mark Popek and Dana Sestanor and Damian Edwards and, you're just Victor Marks. These guys that have been playing now for 2, 3, and going into 4 years, and they're really taking a leadership role. They're taking it upon themselves. And they want to be good. They want to push themselves. I mean, it's almost like as a coach, every day they're like, Coach, I mean, we didn't do it right. We got to do it again. I mean, they're the ones kind of correcting it and saying, push us. I mean, they want greatness. And right now their leadership has been really off the charts to this point. I'm really proud of them as a group. I don't want to praise them too much because we still, the challenge we have is to keep this tempo for 12 more practices as we go through spring.
No, I don't know if you could say this. Anybody starting to stand out to you yet so far?
No, I mean, again, I'm so involved in coaching tempo and little things here and there. I mean, that's what we'll sit down and watch the film and go through a lot of corrections and things like that with them. But overall, I see kind of the big picture. There's sloppy things. We jumped off sides 4 or 5 times. We had 4 or 5 center quarterback exchanges. We've got 3 new centers. When you look at Austin Ryder's in there, and you have Thor Joswiak and Chandler Matthews. You've got new centers. There's a lot of things like that. I see those things, but there was a lot of great individual efforts out there. But I thought the hitting, the contact, we did a finished practice with a live 3 on 3rd and 1 drill, and then finished with a 3-on-3 kind of a hoot and holler drill for competition that the offense won in overtime today. We had to do an extra rep and let the offensive line, defensive line settle it. So the offense won today in the competition battle, but just doing things like that make it fun.
Is that drill one of your favorite drills?
3-on-3, it's football.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a game of football, and we make everybody does it. I mean, the receivers, DBs do it, the O-line, D-line do it, the tight ends, linebackers do it. It's the game of football. It's about having a base underneath you, taking on your blocker, trying to shed them, come off, make a play, churning your legs, moving the pile. I mean, it is old-fashioned football, but I think that's where the game of toughness, where toughness plays such a big role in this game.
Is that just a first day in pads drill, or is that something you would do?
No, we do it. We'll probably do it. We do it about 8 times. We do it about 8 times in the spring through the 15 practices. We'll do it about 8 times. Obviously, we don't do it in the shorts days, but every day we're in pads and tackling, we'll do that drill.
I know it's only been 3 days. Can you say if offense or defense is ahead of the other at this point?
No. I mean, right now, there were some plays made by both sides today. It was a day where offensively they couldn't move the ball for about 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden it came in chunks of 40 yards, 50 yards, 40 yards. I mean, all of a sudden it came in big chunks of yardage, and then things started moving, and then we, and again, we're not just trying to scrimmage, we're trying to make sure that we get reps and get good on good. It was all 1s on 1s, 2s on 2s, and 3s on 3s today, where we get good on good and get out there, and that's the only way we're going to get better. And that's the whole object we have, is to improve this football team this spring and create as much depth as we can.
Now, not to harp on anything from last season, but when talking to a lot of players, they say there's a different vibe out of practice that we wasn't there last year, is it?
Well, and I think that's two reasons. I think one, it's the leadership that we talked about earlier and the great job the senior class is doing in leading this team. As coaches, we can only push so hard from our side, but when we're pushing and the seniors are pulling, it creates a totally different atmosphere, and that's kind of what I think you're seeing. The other thing is it's taken us 2 years at this point to get this tempo. It's taken us 2 years to get not just the seniors there, but to get the sophomores, the juniors, the freshmen, to get them to understand the tempo of practice and how we do things and what's expected of them. But year one, you start to get your starting 22, and then you get maybe 44. Now we're starting to get a team that really is starting to understand how to practice. But it's been a work in progress. But I feel like we've made huge strides, and I can't say enough positive things about the attitude of these players. But the leadership of the senior class has really been huge right now.
Coach, I saw yesterday it was looking Lamar was getting a fair amount of work with the running backs. Is kind of cross training him right now, or where do you think he's more likely to be right now?
Right now, we've moved Lamar back to the running back position. He's been at the receiver position for the last 2 years. With Darryl Scott's departure, where you're looking at, you have Demetrius Murray's really the only proven back there, and at the inside H receiver you have a Victor Mark that's played a lot. You have Terrence Mitchell that can go in there, Derek Hopkins that can go. We felt like we had a little depth there,
right,
and we just wanted to put one more guy into the mix at the running back position. And for the first 3 days, he brings a little different dimension because him and Marcus have got such speed. We got to get to where we can be every down players, but right now, so we're working him all at running back right now.
I saw Verone's in the boot. I just want to ask you, is that something that's a whole spring, or what happened there?
I don't know. Horseplay in the dorm.
Really?
I mean,
Okay.
yeah, something like that. Just horsing around the dorm. And it's a shame because the spring's the opportunity you have to earn a position. And with the way we punted the ball last year, that position's wide open. I'm trying to find a punter, and Brockhouse is going to have to improve because there's some competition out there. And if he doesn't, then somebody else is going to take it from him. But right now it's a shame for Chris because spring's the opportunity that he has, and he ended up hurting his foot in the door.
Well, speaking of the specialists, I noticed Matthias Seabody is predominantly at punter now.
Right.
Then you have the kickers with a couple walk-ons on there. Is that going to be for the rest of spring probably?
Well, no, right now, I mean, Matthias he really won the punting duties, and so he's been focusing most of his time right there because that's the biggest opportunity to throw somebody and get on the field.
Right.
So he's been spending a lot of his time on his punting, and he hasn't punted as well at the beginning of camp here, the beginning of spring practice, as he did at the beginning of the fall. So I'm sure he's just working on it a little bit more, but it's not intentional where we wanted him to go one direction more than another.
Okay, some of the guys who are limited, like John Legis, any timetable when he'll be able to?
No, I mean, he's supposed to get another doctor's evaluation in about 2 weeks on what he's going to be able to do. Right now, he's very limited. And they're just, he had a pretty extensive surgery done to his wrist, and it's been a long time. It's been 3 months now, and they just don't want him falling on it and doing something where he's got to start all over again. Right now, they're just being really cautious with it.
Oh, I also know James Hamilton also wasn't in pads.
James did his back. He's got a muscle spasm in his back and couldn't go.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't think that's anything long term.
All right.
You're replacing a 3-year starter at long snapper. It looks like Burdetsky's kind of the first guy right now.
Yeah, I mean, Burdetsky, even last year, we redshirted Burdetsky and told him, I said, if something would have happened to Walsh during the course of the season, I would have pulled the red shirt off him because I felt like a year ago he was good enough to compete.
Yeah.
But there was no sense in burning his year and utilizing 2 deep snappers a year ago if we didn't need to. So Burdetsky redshirted a year ago, but right now he's snapping the ball really well. And if we can keep this up for a while, for the next 15 days, then we're definitely going to camp with him being the number 1.
All right. Thanks a
Thank you
lot.
very much.
Okay.